All right, everybody, moving right along here on this Tuesday. Well, very busy Tuesday. A lot of corporate updates here this week. I think everybody's coming back into the office from the summer vacation. But we're going to go back down to the state of Arizona here with our friends from Intrepid Metals. They do trade on the Venture Exchange with INTR and on the OTCQB with IMTCF. Matthew Lennox-King, CEO of the company. They have published some information, really starting, they're getting ready to drill that Corral Copper Project in Arizona. So we're going to dive right into this as deep as we can here. Still early days here. But Matt, exciting days ahead here. Give us a sense. You got a few targets here. Maybe what's going to be the lowest hanging fruit here, you think, here for Corral?
Great question. Yeah. And so everything really is getting rolling for us here. First drill will arrive on site second week of September, and we'll aim to get rolling pretty quickly on the heels of that. The lowest hanging fruit, really is the high-grade CRD style mineralization that we've intersected in the last couple campaigns. The team, I'll give the team credit, has designed what should be a really impactful program. And that program, as far as it relates to the CRD drilling, it's roughly 5,000 meters, and it's all step out. We're not looking at infill anymore. So we're looking at minimum 50-meter step outs from known mineralization. And these are in the zones ranging from Holiday in the north down to Ringo and Clanton in the southern part of that CRD related trend. So super exciting there. And those are going to be shorter holes, sort of 150-ish to 250-meter holes. So things that we can bang out pretty quickly, start to get information back, and ideally communicate that out to the market.
Yeah. So how is your conviction here that there is indeed a porphyry source beneath that CRD system?
Getting better all the time.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah. I would say getting better all the time, in that a lot of the work that you referenced in the intro, it has been specifically related to sort of teasing out and reinforcing those porphyry targets. Ultimately, drilling is the ultimate test, but we do have a pending IP survey as well. We're seeing really interesting metal zonation. So definitely some very copper-rich zones at surface, both through fracture sampling, but then also traditional grab sampling. Rock in a bag, send it to the lab kind of thing. So yeah, it's very interesting. And of course there are no guarantees in exploration, but we think our workup is very solid. And the fact that we can see porphyry related textures in outcrop or fragments of porphyry related alteration mineralization in drill core, it's really encouraging.
Mm-hmm. In these last couple drill releases, you do go through a lot of specific identifications of vectoring into a potential porphyry target here. And I don't necessarily want to go through these with a fine-tooth comb, because I am just not equipped enough to do that, to talk about mica alteration or AIOH wavelength vectors, Matt. And unless you really want to do a deep dive masterclass in these things, we can. But maybe if we kind of break it down, for us laymen's, what do you need to see here? What are the one or two additional pieces of evidence that you still want to see before you put that highest conviction behind one specific drill target?
Yeah, I think really it's refining things. I don't think there's any additional surface work that we want to see come in before we start prioritizing the porphyry part of the drill program. I think it's really collecting the data from the IP survey, getting the interpretations from that, and just refining things a little bit more. I mean, there are certainly areas like the Curly target in the western part of our property, right up close to Ivanhoe Electric. I'd be comfortable drilling that without an IP survey, but just while we're going through the high grade CRD part of the program, it allows us to get that IP data in, refine the targeting, and really hit hit things properly with the highest amount of conviction.
Okay. So you're allocating approximately 7 holes, 5,000 meters for that first dedicated porphyry test with major drilling.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make a discovery here at this program here, Matt? I mean, is that really, are you swinging for the fence here? Or is it more just learning more about what you don't know?
I think the goal is always to make a discovery when you embark on sort of this new part of the program.
Hmm.
We understand the CRD style mineralization quite well. At this point, we know we can grow it. To what extent is obviously the question. But yeah, look, if we are going through this porphyry program and we're only getting new information but haven't made a discovery, I think that'd be pretty disappointing from my perspective, given the amount of data that we've collected and the workup that we've been working on, to be completely redundant. Um, but yeah, a discovery I think would be ideal. Drilling into point three, point three copper, point three gold over a reasonable width, and saying, okay, yeah, we've hit it. Now we need to do some vectoring and find the rest of it.
All right. Well, and as you know, drilling exploration, it's really hard. Everybody
Hmm.
wants to make a discovery. A lot of times, those discoveries are harder to come by than one would anticipate. Numerous examples of that since we've started this podcast almost 9 years
Yeah.
ago. But you do have the CRD system here, and obviously that has super nice mineralization with it as well. Are you allocating any more capital to developing the CRD, or are we just really primary focused on the porphyry stuff for now?
No, this year's program it's really 50-50 as far as allocation of meters. So if you take the full 10,000 meters that we're planning, all core drilling, of course, 5,000 of those meters will go towards expanding the CRD zones, and better
Hmm.
understanding them, of course, with the balance being allocated to the porphyry program. So yeah, we at this point in time, we still see it very much as a dual track approach. Yeah, it's hard to ignore 200 meters at close to 1% copper equivalent. So we're going
Hmm.
to keep chasing that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so when do you expect to have drilling beginning here, Matt?
Yeah, second week of September, barring something crazy happening. So major drilling, who we've selected as the contractor, will have the rig and crew on site that second week of September. We've identified all our water sources for drilling. So should be that second week of September, rolling on the CRD. And I would expect, and this is all, once the rock's in the lab, it's up to the gods. But 5-6 weeks after the start of drilling, I'd hope that we'd have our first results out to share with the market.
Mm. I was actually speaking with a colleague of mine who is from Major Drilling earlier this year, actually at the PDAC, and he was kind of expressing at the time just some insights on on contracting with drillers, and he said if companies want to do a drill program, they don't have their rigs really locked down now. We're in such a market that it's going to get harder and harder to get those rigs locked down. It's not, you can't just sign a contract and get a company to move a rig over there the next week. That's not
Exactly.
where we're at. So I was
Yeah.
just kind of curious with that story in the back of my mind, how challenging or how much leadway did you need with Major to really get that contract signed and get equipment moving?
Uh, Quite some time. We really started the process of looking for rigs late April, early May.
Mm, hmm.
Talking to Major, long year, all your usual suspects. Um, and yeah, pardon me, effectively the soonest anyone could mob was early September. Just because the utilization of the equipment and the crews is it's a real thing right now. People are well capitalized and they're busy running their programs.
Are they charging more now than they were, 3 or 4 years ago when you were drilling in Nevada?
Yep, rates are higher. Rates are higher for sure. I mean, we're in a broadly inflationary environment across the board. So there's certainly nothing offensive, but yeah, you pay no
Sure.
more now than you did back in 2020.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Matt. So obviously, huge program. We look forward to seeing those results in due time after it commences here in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, what else should I have been asking you, Matt? I mean, obviously this is a big step for the company trying to prove out this porphyry theory. But what else am I missing within the story of Intrepid?
I don't think you're missing a lot at the project level, to be honest, right? You have we'll call it the original high-grade CRD mineralization that kind of underpins things for us.
Hmm.
We believe we can grow it. We believe we can add more value there. There's certainly the porphyry part of the story. Outside of those zones at Corral, we do have the Maddie prospect, which appears to be an epithermal gold zone, probably quite a big footprint. We're waiting for some surface data there, surface sampling data there to give us an idea of what the ballpark is. But Corral is underpinned by a large, extensive, intense hydrothermal system. So we believe that's going to pay off as far as multiple zones, multiple styles of mineralization. Look, and then corporately, we've certainly stabilized our market. We are very well funded at the moment. We've got roughly 19.5 million Canadian in the treasury as of today. We've got about 8.5 million in the money warrants out there as well that expire in March and October of 2027. So as far as this aggressive push on the ground, well, that's financed, fully financed, I guess you'd say, and backed by pretty significant treasuries. So we can keep going. And I think importantly that as we have success in certain areas, whether that's the CRD, the porphyry, or both, we can be flexible and expand that program to follow success.
All right. Thanks, Matt. It's good to see you. We'll talk to you again here in the next few weeks. Intrepid Metals, once again, trades on the venture with INTR and on the OTCQB with IMTCF. Matt, have a great rest of your week. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
The information presented should not be considered investment advice. Mining Stock Daily and its affiliates are not responsible for any loss arising from any investment decision in connection with the material presented herein. Please do your own research or speak with a licensed financial representative before making any investment decisions.